So when we hear about somebody becoming an overnight success, we think, well, that didn't happen to me. And people will say that to me all the time too. Like, wow, you wrote this one article that went viral and it changed your whole life. And that's true. But like I had written thousands and thousands of articles that did not go viral. And it wasn't as easy as I wrote one article and my life changed. It's been work for the past decade to make it happen. But people don't see all of that. And I think with social media, it's really easy to just see the end result, or we just see somebody's highlight reel. And it causes us to compare ourselves even more than ever.
I love the quote or the saying where it's like, "Yeah, I was an overnight success. It just took me 10 years."
Right,
And
exactly.
because exactly, you're working in the shadows, you're developing the skills, you're developing, whatever it needs, and then eventually that tipping point, that part where you get the rewards. What is it? It's we're entitled to our labor, not the fruits of our labor. So meaning like
Yeah.
we're entitled to what we do, the art. So for me, like the podcast or whatever, but I can't control the downloads. I can't control the success. I can't control the fruits of that labor, but I am entitled to the fulfillment and the enjoyment I get from creating it, regardless of who's listens or doesn't listen.
And I hear that from so many people who they're like, well, I put in all the hard work, so I deserve success. Or how come it's not happening to me? Well, if we took podcasts as an example, I don't know, 98% of podcasts don't even make it past like the fifth or the 10th
Mm-hmm.
episode because it's so much work. So many people end up quitting. It's really difficult to find an audience and to figure out what kind of show. And week after week, it's a lot of work. Doesn't mean you're going to be the next Joe Rogan, right? But
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people say, this isn't fair. I put in all this work. Or people who get a college degree and they say, I just studied for 4 years. I deserve a really good job. And like, no, it really doesn't work like that. There's nobody that's going to say, you put in X amount of work, so therefore you deserve X amount of money or X amount of fame or uh, so many Instagram followers just because you put in the effort.
That's one of the things I wrote is like oftentimes I expect things to come faster than they should, and it results in like a feeling of failure, and oftentimes like a desire to stop or quit or feel like it's not worth it. And that was something I wrote in like big bold letters, is like, you're doing it for the enjoyment of it, not for the results. And if I do it that way, there is no immediate results. There is no expectation. I just enjoy what I'm doing, and I'm doing it because it makes me feel good. And that's really something I want to focus on and kind of want to develop, because it's been invaluable. Like I feel so much better each day. There's no gain or loss. It's just for the fun, for the art.
And that's difficult for those of us who are kind of achievement driven, right? You
Mm.
want to get to the next milestone, you want a goal, you want to have things that you can check off. We want to measure all this stuff. And it takes that extra effort to be like, I'm just going to enjoy the journey, or let me look around right now and just appreciate where I am without feeling like I have to get to that next milestone. And even when we are in that mindset, like we think, oh, I'll be so much happier when I get to X, when I get that promotion, when I finish that race, when I'm number one at the company. Research will show over and over again, we're really bad at predicting what creates happiness for us. And when we do reach that milestone, it's incredibly short-lived, and then everything resets again, and you just kind of get used to that level of success or achievement. And so I think that's a huge goal, and it's a daily thing to remind myself of too, of like, no, you just enjoy where you are right now. Like, I'm really lucky, fortunate to be where I am. There's so many things I can enjoy on an absolute daily basis. When I'm 80 years old and I look back again, what am I going to think? Gee, I wished I would have, spent 17 more hours a day hustling. Like, no, probably not. Like, instead, like, I hope I really enjoyed this phase of my life.